Guess who's back? Back again. Nord is back. Tell your friends. Hello, everybody. It is episode 66 of the Strip Poker Night at the Inventory podcast. I'm
You
your
gotta do
host,
something
spnanon,
special for the
back
69th
with my
episode.
normal interrupting me co-host, nmasp.
Didn't you miss
The
me?
same as always. We've saved him from the terror of Gay Bowser and his
God,
capture in the paintings.
it was pretty bad. It was all oil painting. It was very well lubricated, but not in the ways you'd hope or indeed really expect.
But the real adventure was the friends that we made along the way. The replacement co-hosts turned guests, because Nord, my replacement co-host from last time, is now back as a guest, because he technically wasn't guesting last time, or he sort of was. But he's got a new character on main, so we'll give him a chance to talk about that. In fact, it has been quite a while since we recorded a cast, because we went too long last time and it took a very long time to edit. Maybe it would go faster if we actually paid Solitaire to do this and he wasn't just editing out of the kindness of his heart.
Well, time to reach into my fucking big ass nmasp wallet.
Shout outs to Tebow for editing that one episode.
True. nmasp has been like secretly funding this entire operation for years.
I kind of have.
Spnanon runs at a loss. It's just him.
It's pretty much like I'm an angel investor, keeping the servers up.
So because it's been a while, there are a lot of testing characters to go through, and I think we're going to do that in a future recording session, because testing, that first impression characters make is usually when we go the most in depth. So I want to make sure to give everyone their own fair shake and a fair amount of time. But for main roster, nmasp and I, for the most part, have pretty much said our piece on them already. Our opinions are unlikely to change all that much. So we'll generally have Nord go first and say a little bit more about each of them, since he may not have had the chance to do so. A few of them he has, because it has been a while, and some of them have made the journey since we recorded back in December previously. But we have a full slate of main roster additions. This game is doing pretty well at the moment. It's healthy. It's rolling right along. So even though Nord will talk first most of the time, our first main roster addition is Marinette from Miraculous Ladybug.
Oh my fucking god. What a ride it has been.
Perhaps nmasp should get started, because this is a character who, I guess you could say it's been a tumultuous dev history, sort of. She used to be one of the fixtures of the game back when she came out in fall 2017, and then she kind of went away for a while, because he returned to he became a hermit and trained in the mountains to master the art of the spots.
Yeah, I've come a long way. You can see these little interims, but yeah, Marinette, what a good character. I definitely think that my biggest advice for people is, like, if you're like really mad at your first product, and there's not like a really, really good reason to start from scratch, don't do that. It will cost you a lot of time and effort, and also lean on your friends. Like, Marinette's most recent art update is by far her best, and it kind of combines like a lot of pipelines with the phone box, the Lonely Phone Box's wonderful art skills. Marinette's definitely not, I'd say Marinette was a really good first character. I wouldn't say she's my favorite character to write for, but I do really enjoy her. And I think the fact that the pressure's off really incentivizes me kind of continuing to explore her and having her as a resource to play off the existing roster characters. Really, really excited that she's on the main again.
And going forward, what would you say is what you want to do with her?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is it's sort of kind of a general roster problem, where with Adrian and Leon, there's so many female characters that you could flirt with or hit on or whatever, that it's kind of easy money to just do that with them. But the reverse isn't really true. There's not like a lot of male characters that come on that Marinette can just hit on. So, like having Marinette hit on other female characters is totally fine. And I'm definitely open to those interactions. But I think right now it's like just getting good additional exchanges going with her is probably what's most exciting for me.
Nord, what do you think about Marinette? What would you call this? Like Marinette 3.0? Marinette 2.0?
Yeah, 3.0.
It's quite interesting to see a character that, at least going by their channel history, has had 3 whole, like, complete visual styles. Like, you can see, the very earliest sort of pipeline usage, which I'm guessing was, like, back in 2018.
Yeah, I think, like, the second...
Well, that was just, like, Photoshop, right?
Yeah, the second one was just Photoshop.
So
actually, first one was...
With the polka dot shadow.
First and second are just Photoshop. It was painful. Back in the old days, we did it by hand, uphill in the snow both ways.
What I would like to see out of her is something you mentioned, which is more flirting with more characters. A greater variety of good male characters have been coming out in like the recent couple of years. So I feel like you should definitely look for opportunities to do that. Like, does she flirt with Aichi, for example?
No, but she does flirt with Kaz, and she was flirting with Steve, but Sin Alias has a terrible propensity to write characters that both me and Napsu really want to go after. So it's like, it's the fucking like Ara sort of deal. But yeah, I think there's an actual fan art of Steve and Marinette in social server somewhere, but I think having Marinette hit on, Ichi or, Dunban or something like that would be fun.
Mm-hmm. I don't have much in the way of critique. Her writing's pretty solid. Her art is amazing. Shows kind of what our artists are now capable of with enough time and effort. One very random thing was that she doesn't target Flutter, which I found amusing just because I just wanted to see. Okay, she mentions some kind of purple butterfly theme.
Oh yeah,
villain.
shit. Whoops, that's kind of obvious.
And she doesn't mention the actual butterfly.
That makes sense. I'm gonna drop that in her channel. Good feedback.
God, the roster's big enough at this point that it's a tall ask to make sure you cover every possible, like, oh, maybe she should comment on this. But yeah.
We have we have 273 characters on main at time of recording. But it is a lot to expect to target all of them for all their unique stuff, but I think that's one that, just fire it out.
Yeah, that one's pretty easy.
Oh.
Thanks for the feedback. Spin on it. Anything else you want to see from Marinette?
I can't say I'm a huge fan of sort of the flirting with male characters. I understand why you go for it. It's just not something that's like personally appealing to me. Just having the wingman and that very funny screenshot that got posted where like Leon and Rouge were going at it and Marinette and Adrian were going at it, just straight up fucking. And the player's just standing there with his dick in his hand, like same old. Boy, if I had a nickel for all the parties I went to that ended up like this.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but I think it's like my kind of counter argument is that it's really hard to target things towards like all players because the player is generic, but it's really easy to target things towards one character. And to me, that's more interesting than like aggrandizing the player. Not to say that you shouldn't. Like, I think there's definitely like good room for that. You shouldn't just ignore the player entirely. But like, I also don't think it's it's like, it's so weird because it felt like in 2021, 2022, there was this broader consensus that like, yeah, you probably like, if you're playing like a game with a male character, you should probably expect them to be a little attracted to you, sort of thing. Now we have like the sexuality tags and all that, but it's just really interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, I understand. Because like,
Yeah.
why pick a male character if you don't expect them to get some kind of action? So
yeah, and I think
I
it's just more
understand.
interesting to see the characters, interact. It would be like if like Maya just like talked to the player the whole game. Like that would drive me insane.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like on her own, I really like her. She's cute. She's a petite. She wears a bodysuit. She's bright and peppy and cheery and always a positive presence. And really, the shoe's gonna be on the other foot with me and you, because you've been kind of slaving away in the mines trying to figure out all this legacy content for her and how to revamp everything and what stays and what's gonna go. And I've got an art update on the horizon pretty soon that I'm gonna have to sort through myself.
You got this.
In fact, it's twice the work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's like something like 5,000 Marinette lines just waiting in the wings for the day they erupt.
Reply to my lines, bitch.
On Marinette.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because their pairing's still pretty high.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. I will get to that. I actually haven't like responded to anything on Marinette in a while, so not personal.
But yeah, like I know. Contrary to popular belief, I do work on this game and don't just like make polls and podcasts and things.
I can't believe it.
We hardly ever talk about what I've made for this game because it's mostly just been small updates. But eventually, there will be something on the agenda that I'm responsible for. It has happened in the past.
Can't believe spnanon made a male character.
Yes. It's me. I put myself in the game.
Oh my god, it's just Chad from the memes.
From the memes.
All right.
I think it's time to move on.
Unless
you have anything else to say about Marinette. God, she's cute as a button.
God, I love Marinette. She's so good.
I really hope that just like in the French, just perverts that they are, they inspire a new generation of latex fetishists.
I mean, it was totally spies for our generation. Miraculous Ladybug will go a long way, especially because they release one season every like 100 fucking millennia.
Nord.
Yo.
Nord.
Hello.
Do you like goblins?
Goblins are alright.
I don't like goblins.
Oh no.
Talk about Trixie.
Put the sword down, spnanon. Trixie. Her art's pretty good. Dialogue's alright. She has I think the biggest example of short character privilege in that she can afford longer lines.
Ironically, this is a big factor for why I pick the characters I do. Anyway.
I will say, though, that one writing criticism I would have is that this privilege is used too much sometimes. Especially later in the game. A typical player isn't going to have the attention span to read a multi-paragraph explanation for why you're so awesome, or I don't know, having green eyes. It's written to be very sort of, she's written very much as a comfort character for whoever picks her, which is funny considering the usual reputation goblins have. I don't know if this was covered last time she was talked about. She has a butt pose. The one it shipped with had a bit of a face that was a bit off. It looked more like for one of Metal's human, One Piece girls. It didn't really fit Trixie's profile, but he has since updated it, and I think it looks better now.
She looks very like human in general.
Yeah, there's a new sort of trend, especially on Twitter, to draw cute goblins. I think Not the Brave from Critical Role probably has a factor to do with that. Popular goblin character. Voiced by Sam Riegel. I don't think I have much else to say about Trixie. She's alright. A lot of effort was clearly put into it.
I think Trixie's great. I fucking love Trixie. and I understand where Nord's coming from, but I also think that like Trixie is an extremely fuckable goblin, and I wish there was more horniness. Like even still, the horny meter can go way higher, and yeah,
That is very true.
So the big boobs don't bother you because she, as a whole, is small.
proportionally they're small, so it's okay.
Well, no, proportionally they're large. Absolutely. They're
Well,
small.
scale to my penis, they're appropriately.
On an absolute scale.
Anyway, yeah, I think Trixie is a great character. You know, to Nord's point, very much a comfort character. I think I'm just really interested to see, you know, where Trixie continues to develop. I think it's like it's kind of tough because I don't know. It's like, how do you satisfy everyone with a character like this? And I think the answer is you can't. So it serves well to just lean into like whatever you're going for, which is true in general. Like you can't like win with all characters all the time. So I'd say just go for it. That's all I got.
I know this isn't completely like Storm's OC. This is like a fan character, sort of, that he's sort of retooled. But
She's basically an OC at this point because the original OC, like the OC the person made was, I think, a wizard or arcane trickster.
there's enough original portrayal here that you can kind of tell that she really leans into what her author in particular likes.
Sense.
Which is stuff that I don't particularly like. But
Like what?
It's not necessarily bad. It's mostly just like, it's kind of like what you were saying before about just really focusing on the player and sort of being overly complimentary.
Right.
And, I think he's even like trying to build in like a romance mode where you slowly get to know each other some more over the course of these wacky strip poker games. She becomes like more and more intimate with you. It's like, I don't know. That seems like the domain of epilogues. I've railed about epilogues, but that at least kind of makes sense in a setting like that where I don't know. I'm very much against the idea of like kind of writing characters as like evolving AIs, like they're your virtual girlfriend that you grow to know and care about. I'm more interested in them than I think they should be interested in me because I'm not that interesting. I'm a faceless avatar, and overall, it's just like
Huge cock.
it's just like a very tame portrayal of a goblin. You know, she's just she looks pretty relatively human. She's just like a short stack human almost. I feel like she could use a little bit of like an edge to her. Or maybe she does something like freaky or dirty that's like she's like, oh, yeah, that's pretty normal for a goblin, but it would kind of freak you out as like a person. I don't know. Something to make you go like, oh, I didn't expect that. She's a little too syrupy sweet for me right now. But she's not like a poorly made character or anything.
We need a second goblin who just goes all in on the like gremlin energy, just
what?
Completely unhinged.
I think my favorite portrayal of goblins is probably the World of Warcraft goblins because they're all from like fucking New Jersey and like hyper capitalist. So it's all just like that, like a shithole. It's great. 10 out of 10.
Hey man, what's wrong with New Jersey?
Well, you know, I hear that being from Jersey means never saying you're sorry, but that's all I got.
Okay, so anyway. In summary, I don't like goblins. Moving on. You think a goblin would be pretty hairy, but this next character might as well take the crown on that one. A character who you could argue was never really meant to exist or be real, but just is, and we have to deal with him, which I guess is totally in character. he a character that joined on April Fool's and then
didn't leave.
Had to go. It's like, what? Wait, it was April Fool's? I had no idea. This is just totally. Yeah, I'm just here now.
No offense.
It's Bobobo from Bobobo.
Bobobo. I fucking love Bobobo.
Last I remember, nmasp has personal experience with this show.
I've watched this show actually, which is kind of wild to think about.
But Nord, yeah, I mean Bobobo, he finally got his art update. He doesn't have the gorilla arms anymore. He's just an inverted triangle all over now. with a ball on top. He is big, he is buff, he is hairy. Nord, what do you think of Bobobo, who has graduated to main? God help us all.
I think that Just Kidding's motives are beyond our understanding.
Dude, Just Kidding is like beyond all of us. Like we're like fucking figuring out how to like play with rocks on Earth, and he's out in Saturn just mining the like
Yeah.
the alchemical truth for shit.
He has sort of single-handedly...
Combining with his username, this just feels like performance art.
Yeah.
Bobobo has sort of single-handedly shown that there's a new type of situation that characters kind of need to react to, which is taking off one set of underwear to reveal another set of underwear beneath that.
Damn it.
Because the player can do that now, and Bobobo also does it. Multiple times. I have feelings about Bobobo. I don't know what kind of feelings they are. It's just a big question mark. It's like there's this whole feeling that we're trying to move away from male characters being a joke. But we have male characters that come with jokes or come from jokey source material. I've created one of them. So Bobobo is very much... This is a legitimate, serious in terms of how they were approached development-wise. Well executed and like all-around high-quality character. So it's like... It's taking the joke seriously, which is what makes it hilarious.
Serious fun.
It's such a like contradiction. It's such a paradox. I don't fully know how to articulate it, but it's like he's perfect. He's the perfect joke character because he was developed absolutely like perfectly in the end. I love Bobobo. I think that's all I can say. Well done, just kidding.
I really appreciate, like, it's like the joke has gone too far and it's like it's horseshoe theory its way into being like completely fucking hilarious, and it's great. If you haven't played Bobo Dead by Daylight characters, go do that. It's fucking hilarious. Like, it's like positioning Bobo as like a Dead by Daylight killer. This is perfect.
I have not done that.
Makes like a fucking razor tripwire with his nose hair.
I guess so.
nmasp, any thoughts on Bobobo?
I get my thoughts. He's good.
I find his inclusion to be as vexing as ever. I mean I don't know, like, if Just Kidding just finds the entertainment value funny or he's legitimately attracted to him. I've definitely seen uglier male characters, but I don't know if he's got a nose hair fetish or what's going on. But I can't say. What I can say is that he has objectively improved in his time. So he is not just like he just threw them together and tried to pass him off as a legitimate character. I mean, he keeps updating him, and he actually polished up and refined his art, and now he looks much more proportional. So yeah. If you're into Don Patch and nose hair and afros and 5 pairs of underwear, fucking go for it. He's there and we can't stop him. Here's a character we talked about. We talked about her last time, or last recording.
Lyralei, right?
I could have sworn that she was like listed as a main roster character last time. You can see how tight of a ship we run.
Yeah.
So that she's on this agenda again, but I guess nmasp, you can give your thoughts on her, because she did finally cross the finish line. We spent most of our time. This is Lyralei from Dota. We spent most of the time talking about the agony that is a wooden dildo, regardless of how much you sand it. Callie was giving us the rundown on the many issues associated with that. I talked about her briefly because she is good overall. Very nice, very fun, cute character model, decently detailed. And Nord, you can reiterate yours if you'd like.
I think to give my summary on Lyralei, I think she's a good character. The big problem is like if you're making a character from like a flat series for like this is your like this is your Dota, this is your League of Legends, this is things without like a ton of supplementary lore or like consistent characterization, it helps a lot if you just engage rampantly with other characters or even other authors.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only real miss. Like the character's good, just hard to, it would be good to like have like a broader spread of like interactions, I would say.
Nord?
Yeah, from my understanding, Dota 2 specifically doesn't have that much lore even compared to other MOBAs. All I'll really comment on, like, her model's well made, her dialogue has some patches of being a bit generic for a spnanon character. She has a lot of, like, MOBA specific comments and stuff, which, work in her favor. I still think her posing is her weakest area, and having replayed a game with her earlier, I really think her posing lets her down, to be honest. I tried to get them to address it in her sponsorship, but in general, I don't think it fixed the broader issues. Just maybe a couple of poses were adjusted. I think she's too stilted, and at the same time, her arms and legs go off in all sorts of really cartoony directions in some poses. And especially later in the game, it just doesn't really mesh well, I think. It's like, it makes it look like she's hopping on one foot and, doing all these, like, she's doing dynamic poses, and yet she's stood basically upright, so it doesn't look it looks like her limbs are dynamic, but her center of mass isn't. Some of her facial expressions could use a second pass.
The model looks really nice, actually, but I can kind of tell what you mean with the posing. Looking at this, it seems a little bit like more older style character posing,
Yeah.
like 2017, 2018, where it's sort of approximated what she's going for, but the body language is a little all over the place. So some limbs are kind of thoughtlessly placed. I would say in general, yeah, like this is a very like generally good character, but the trouble is I think she is kind of missing that X factor to like say like, oh, this is her shtick. I can give like a physical description of her, but she's just kind of like dialogue or personality or lore wise. There's nothing particularly that's like stand out where like she would have a unique opinion or a unique take on the situation. I think if he looked for that, he'd find something really good. And that's probably the kind of thing where where you're struggling to find that you end up with like a wooden dildo because they're like, oh, I got to be unique somehow.
Yeah.
Like, well, don't do that.
I mean,
Don't do it with sex toys.
I only know like a passing amount of like who she actually is. But if she's like a protector of animals and nature, like if she's basically a druid-like character, I didn't really get that in her.
Don't say that. That's racist.
What?
My mother is Druish.
What's the correct term then?
That was a joke.
I know. I'm bouncing it back to you to put you on the spot. I think that's part of her character that didn't really come across in her dialogue, but I don't know if that is as strong as I might, imagine it to be just reading, protector of nature. It's like, wouldn't she have a strong opinion about... I don't know, does she target... I don't think she targets Pokemon characters in great depth about, having subservient creatures.
The animal slavery.
Yeah.
You want to write that? You want to have that conversation with Rosa and Gloria? Fucking glory. Fuck off.
I want to watch that conversation like 100%. Like, are you kidding me? Like, fuck yeah,
having
dude. Let's
having
go.
a cheeky little battle. Watching them bash their heads together.
The thing is,
Oh, what fun.
generally it's considered a topic to avoid when it's just, Jane anime schoolgirl bringing it up, because it's like they wouldn't really have that strong of an opinion of it, so it's just like the Pokemon character replies, "Oh, don't worry, the Pokemon like it," and we'll probably just accept that answer. But Lyralei could probably go all in.
Yo, Wooloo, it breaks its leg. It just means you're having supper tonight.
Oh god.
Like, all in good fun. There's plenty of them. Just get some more in the grass.
But I think just scanning through her targets here, like the nosy witch that I am, I don't think she goes in depth with any Pokemon character, and I think if you want to go with that part of her character, that's definitely somewhere you could take it, where it's like she just zeroes in on, okay, so do you really treat Pokemon well? Are you sure they like it? Your whole society is built around them? Interesting. I don't know. Maybe this is the wrong direction that she would actually go with the lore she has. But the thing is, I don't know either way.
It's food for thought. At the very least, I can say she looks very appealing.
Her model is good.
Always use some redheads.
She's very novel.
Probably a few too many forfeit variants. Could probably cut one of them. One specific one you could cut out. The wooden dildo one.
Namask, I'm also offended. I'm offended once again. The correct term is that she's very novella.
My god, I will fucking hunt you down in New Jersey and stab you. It's recorded on this podcast, so it has to be true. But speaking of stabbing things, let's move on to our favorite murder hobo, Aaravi.
Aaravi, my beloved.
Nord, are you a gamer?
I'm a gamer.
Do you vibe with Aaravi?
I vibe with her.
Do you like to
really
rip and tear and over encumber yourself and take all the side quests in life?
Absolutely. Fill up my journal.
Tell us more about how you feel about Aaravi.
Her art is great. It's fantastic. Her writing, really cool and funny. You've posted that post. That is excellently replicated from a piece of official art of her, from in the game. And now I've lost my train of thought. I feel like they've really captured the spirit of Aaravi really well. Because Aravi's whole thing is she's an RPG protagonist. Specifically, I think more of a MOBA, not MOBA, MMO type character.
Yeah, like a Monster Hunter type of thing.
Yeah, a Monster Hunter type.
She's always building her stats.
Yeah, but she's living in a world where the world doesn't really work like that, except for when she's around.
Yeah, I kind of get the impression she's just LARPing.
Yeah. She's just LARPing really successfully. And it's funny being, a character from a game called Monster Prom, and her whole thing is she hunts monsters. I think one of the most things that I think shows that she's been adapted really well is that there's a funny line that can play if she's been in a certain stage for 10 rounds or something, where she levels up her poker skill. It has special visual effects for it. I think that's great.
Anything else?
I don't know how to be critical of her because I enjoy her so much.
You can be positive. You can just be like, damn, I want to bang this bitch. Want to level up her cum stats. I want to add a new member to her party.
I guess I will say that she's written really well in a way where she makes all of these obvious RPG like meta jokes, but they don't come off as overbearing. Like it's never that really dry. Oh, this is worse than the time I lost to a pack of goblins at level 4. Ha ha. No, it very much feels lifted straight out of the Monster Prom series, which is, you know, great testament to Clockwork's writing. I think that's about all I can say.
nmasp, you're a gamer. You're a tabletop gamer.
I'm a tabletop gamer. No, I love Aaravi. I think I really like all the characters that are like really like genre savvy into genres that I happen to know a lot about. Like I think this is just generally true, judging by like how other people in my household kind of spaz out about characters with like legitimate pop knowledge. I'm like, anyway, but I think I really like Aaravi. I've targeted her a lot with various characters, and I hope she continues to get new dialogue and new lines. I'm always really like Clockwork Warrior is like such a good like creator. I'm really excited to see where he takes this character and continues to make stuff.
Man, he's got to add like the muscle ribbon tech based on this ref art. Continue.
Good, yeah, let's go.
Oh, you were done talking?
Yeah, done.
Okay, yeah. I posted this butt pose. Although honestly, the part I like most is not the butt, but the 3/4 behind the back.
Perspective.
Or look behind the back. Because that, I mean, it's hard enough to draw like profiles and side views, but I mean, this would be hard just to draw on its own, even if it was referenced from a promotional image. But yeah,
Not a promotional image. It's one of the many endings you can get that involve
Nice.
her.
I don't know. It's promoting the game to me right now, man. I think in contrast to Lyralei and my criticism of her, like I don't think characters should be one dimensional, but I do think you should, in a game like this especially, you should be able to get their shtick pretty quickly. And Aaravi accomplishes that very well. It's like, okay,
Absolutely.
gamer, sweaty monster hunter type of character, likes art, talks like an RPG. Got it. And from there, now that you have a foundation, you can explore and you can expand her and make her a real character with depth. But you got to have something to latch onto at the very least, where you kind of know what she's about. And she accomplishes that very well. She always has something funny or clever to say. And I'm really liking Clockwork's projects in general. First, Hilda from Fire Emblem, and now Aaravi. He is that's always the mark of a
Mercy.
good creator. It's like no matter what they put out, even if you have no familiarity with it, you get it right away, and you
Also
get what they're
Mercy.
about, and you look forward to
Yeah.
it regardless, because it's just gonna be it's gonna have a super strong voice.
Absolutely.
This is a very specific thing, but I think it was the right call to exclude Hex
Yes.
from Aaravi as a character. Now, Hex, when I say Hex, I don't mean the member of the Spinati community.
X has also excluded himself from the podcast because he doesn't like how he sounds.
Oh.
But that's
Birmingham moment.
yeah. But Hex being that green curse in the art I posted, who is her like curse / roommate, and I think she even explains during the game why Hex isn't there. And I think it was the right call because Hex would have honestly just weighed Aaravi down as a character.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? What is the purpose he normally serves?
Just sort
Comic
of
relief.
backup comic relief or monster camp.
I think that would be fine as long as you use it sparingly.
I think there's a version in which that works, but I think it's like Aaravi has so much going on her own in the character that it's like it could become overwhelming with too much of it, right?
I generally think you should try to portray the character kind of as they would be, as much as possible, and
I
sort of
guess
how
like
they
I guess my counterpoint is
are normally
like,
portrayed.
if you didn't know that this were a thing and you played Aaravi, would she be complete as is? Yes.
Yeah.
So adding more to it doesn't help, I think.
I'm always in favor of more content because you could always just like choose not to use him, or use him infrequently, but just to have him there if you need him, I think is always a good thing.
I mean, if we want to get technical, Hex appears in Monster Camp, but not the original Monster Prom, and Aaravi's design in Spnanon is her Monster Prom design, even though she mentions Hex. So if Gawkwork really wanted to have Hex in as a special guest for Aaravi, he could always like add Hex to a theoretical summer outfit, you know, if they wanted to. But I think I agree with the idea that Aaravi is a complete package without Hex.
Well, the fact that both of you disagree with me means it's time for this podcast episode to end.
Good call. Good call. See y'all later. It's fun.
And I need to find new co-hosts and new guests
You can fucking try.
who will stroke my ego appropriately.
Do that in your own time.
In the meantime, let's I mean, don't go anywhere, because it's a bit of a shorter one, but we're going to come back with another shorter one. We're going to continue rattling off these main roster additions. We're playing catch up and we're doing it quick, but that means that hey, people will get to hear their characters talked about sooner rather than later. And Nord, you'll get your chance first thing when we come back to talk about your own projects. We'll go through some others as well. Some long overdue ones and some ones that were relatively fresh. But I hope everyone enjoyed this episode 66 of the Strip Poker Night at the Inventory podcast. Do you have anything to say before we take a break, MSP or Nord?
I'm good.
Tip your waiters.
Tip your waiters.
Tipping is I agree, but tipping is also a bullshit institution. It's designed to exploit the working class. Now we're gonna have to cut this before nmasp goes on a rant now.
No, I actually agree with you. Tipping is more harmful than not. Yeah. Anyway. Until next time.
Imagine owning a restaurant and paying your workers minimum wage.
I mean, to be fair, have you met the people that work in a restaurant? Anyway, so.
Okay.
This is a joke. Legally speaking, this is a joke. Don't come after me, guys. I know what I'm joking about. I've worked in a restaurant.
Was it pizza? Were you serving pizza?
No. I worked in a small Cajun restaurant, and I like the rest of the people.
You worked in a small Cajun restaurant. They should pay you more.
Yeah, I like everyone else there. Like, no one spoke English, including me, and it was a very good learning experience. Sort of.
Okay.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and we will see you next time. I'm going to use this opportunity to stare at the top of Aaravi's ass some more. Should really get on all the shading and the muscles and watch her do this nice Ultra Instinct pose. See you, everybody. See you again soon.